Hey guys, it's Spoot from Fort Misery Gaming back again with SinoAlice. I am bringing friends today to talk about Guild Wars PvP. Today we have the illustrious Zenrado,
Hi.
who didn't actually participate in today's Guild Wars PvP, but his bot did literally nothing, so we were all very proud of him.
Well, I'm the leader. You guys do what I tell you to do, and then I get all the money.
I feel like somebody needs to tag Zahal in this video, and I don't want to have to be the one to do it because I feel like that's unfair. But I understand it. And then
I think his wallet is going to
yes. And then we have that one guy, Jake, who is friend to us all.
Hi. Nice to meet you. Happy to be here.
Boy, he was really excited about that one. So we had our first ZenGang PvP today. Just so the guys from Elite Gaming know, I am still providing you guys with shoutouts and guides, but obviously it didn't work out the way really any of us were expecting. So no harm, no foul. It's still cool. So here we go. So I have the video locked right now, so we haven't started it. So we'll go over a little bit of what's expected. So we had 10 members go into it. You can have 5 DPS and 9 support. If you do not log in by the time the gang war begins, you get botted. You get an AI controlling your unit. The AI in PvP is not good by any stretch of the imagination, so it's something to have a concern over. But you can always join in up until the point it's over. So you have 20 minutes to sort of beat the shit out of each other and hope for the best. And yes, it is live. It is recommended that you find a time zone that all 15 people can sit in and play for 20 minutes, which makes this... and Zen and Jake can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's another PvP system that's quite this intensive.
Not that I'm aware of.
I personally have never heard of one.
Yeah, like this is like low-level raids and an MMO kind of stuff, really. So, alright, so we're going to start the video, we're going to start watching it, and I've advised Jake and Zen if they have questions or if something pops up that they don't know, that I will pause the video and we will talk about it. There are points that I'm going to pause it and sort of show you what's going on so you know. So on the screen, you are going to see the 5 members of both forward parties, and occasionally you will see somebody in the rear guard sort of throw themselves on a screen and be like, I gotcha, and then they run away again. So let's do that.
I do think the forward party is called the Vanguard.
Vanguard, yes. It's Vanguard and rear guard, if we were talking medieval military terms. So I think I logged in, like, yeah, so the counter's going off, like, right now, so. I thought it would automatically take me, and then I realized it didn't. So you do have to click on the battle timer in the top right when it hits 0, otherwise it does not auto-load you in.
For me, it was like a minute or two before it started, and there was an icon on the homepage to click on, and it'd bring you to this screen where you're battling.
Alright, so just to show you the loadout, so you've got Dawn, Delson, Luca, Jake, and Benzie. Doesn't even look like Zen got in, actually. So this is the layout. So as you know, the numbers below your character are your buffs or debuffs. Blue means you are missing that many. Red means you have that many over 0. You start at 0 and you can go to 10, and I'm pretty sure it can go over 10, but the chances of that happening are very, very slim. Because after you get 1 or 2 levels into a buff or a debuff, it gets harder and harder and harder to get it. Each single point is usually anywhere from 8 to 10% as a buff or debuff, so keep that in mind, because I am the only buffer in the guild, right? So you'll see, you'll see my dude sort of jump in from the background and be like, put numbers on him, and then he runs away. So let's get this going. There I go. I actually debuffed that time. I also do have 2 healing staffs and like 2 orbs too, in case I need to nuke somebody.
And then I had a question.
Yeah.
I was able to summon, and I noticed that you also summoned. Is it every party is able to summon? Or every party member is able to
Yes,
summon?
everybody gets 1 summon. The only thing that knocks out is you can't make the same summon twice. So once we get a little further in and there's a larger group of nightmares that you can do, we want to make sure that we're not doubling up, because you can actually summon each one of those once in a guild fight. But you can't summon the same one twice. So if 2 of us have the same one, Only one of us gets to do it. So it's sort of missed, like the stats may be good overall, so it may be your best bet, but you also miss out on a summon. So you kind of have to gauge which one's more important, because some summons are going to be better than others. And then there's an in-fight summon as well, which is badass. To give you a little bit of an idea of the guilds, our guild had maximum 2,500. There were 4 of us that were over 20k. Most of us were around the 18 to 14 mark. And they had 6 people at over 20,000. So we were hosed from the very start. You'll notice that you cannot hot load summons, so while the timer is up, you cannot set up the next one to go. You have to wait until the summon is completely gone before you even bother.
Yeah, there went my summon, and then you followed afterwards.
Yeah, I did the one that I bought. My big old library wisp. Massive defense buffs.
Now, what does that summon do? The one that you just did?
So the one that I'm summoning, the one that happens in a minute, is, I think it's a 4-stage defense buff on magic and physical. You'll notice that I'm clicking to target, so as a buffer or a debuffer, you do have, like, priorities that you want to hit. This counts for healing, too. That way you know now, Jake. Oh, here it is. This is the... So when you run out of stamina, you can go into this little mini-game during combat that's kind of like purification or cleaning. And you just kind of whack stuff. And it's kind of how you gauge what you need versus what you don't.
And then, are you going to explain up at the top there, like the back and forth meter?
Oh yeah, I mean Zen's probably seen something like this in a lot of team-based games, and you would recognize it, I guess, if you had thought about it. That just means who's winning. It's just that's your struggle gauge. So right now we are 1,300 life force down, so we're less than, like, equal. Not great. We did finally kill somebody on the bottom.
And it should be noted that if you are playing as that player and you go down, you can revive for 20 SP, and it heals back a portion of your life to pop back up. At least that's what happened to me in the second.
Yep. I ended up having to spot heal quite a few people that had gone down in the middle of combat, so that sucked. This is what you missed, Zen. Aren't you excited?
Well, I'm seeing a lot of these people beating the shit out of each other, which I appreciate. I always like it when you guys do work that I don't have to do.
Yeah. I did notice too, ironically enough, it was the first time in this battle I realized that you could select a target.
Yep.
Like, yeah, you have that.
It is very important between you and me. More me than you, just because I do have a couple of debuffs. This is more of a sorcerer move or a breaker move. Any single target stuff, you definitely want to select one thing and sort of hate it down. Especially if you're fighting like an AoE person. Like, you always want to target the AoE guys first. And it doesn't really matter now because like everybody has sort of a scattering of equipment. Like, there isn't a single person that's got like 15 hammers equipped. This is where I messed up my window. I had to fix it. And it's going to be like slightly cockeyed. Yeah, that's fine. By the way, Alms made me this layout.
Ooh, great. I love it.
Yeah, I guessed. I guessed it was him.
Yeah, Alms definitely has a signature style. But he is open for commission, so if you want to yell on Twitter, it's ALMHZ @ so we killed everybody, so now we get to fight their boat. They start at 50,000. If you down them, you get a pretty significant set of stat buffs. I believe they also get a debuff, but I would have to double check and see what the exacts are.
Damn, that's a lot of life.
We do about half of it during each section, so it's less than you would think. Or we're doing more damage than you would imagine. I'm not really sure. And you'll notice up at the top, right above the banner, because we actually missed the activation for this, but you see how there's that little gremlin-looking thing at the top of the screen now?
Yes.
So you'll notice the 30 use above it. It has instruments, swords, and spears. So that means whoever gets the closest to 30 or 31st by the time that specific internal timer goes off, you get a summon on your side. So it's this big CG thing that Jake saw, and I think Zen's going to really appreciate because it's kind of wild. And they can happen up to 2 times in a fight.
The cinematic really reminded me of the summon cinematics from Brave Exvius.
Yeah. And it really takes you out of the fight, too, because we were all pretty surprised because I completely forgot they existed. Because everybody in the Discord was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, because we didn't get it.
Well, we got the
So I
second one,
thought-
but we didn't get the first one.
Yeah, and I had thought, because when we did our summons, you know, the little creature appears on the side and then disappears. I was like, did they pay for some kind of premium summon? Like,
No, but these guys, there's one of these guys that has farmed out the legendary summons in Chapter 5, so he had a limit broken 1 legendary summon, and I was like, well, that sucks for us. And I think that was the guy that was at, like, the 31k. Here it is. This thing is so cool.
You know what that reminded me
Huh.
of? Fucking Golden Sun.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. That one is very Golden Sunny. The next one, not so much. The next one's kind of like, I don't know, a little more clockwork summon kind of thing. But that one was definitely very Golden Sunny. So this is when we are all killed. They are fighting our boat. We have about, everybody has a certain amount of time that they are down. I had the longest for some reason. I think it was because I was the last one to go down. Or maybe your rear guard just takes longer to get up, so they punish you for, you know, going down. I'm not 100% sure on that. I would actually have to read up about it. So, while I was down, I just spent this time maxing out my bar. And I still had time left. You can also all chat during Guild Wars, which is bad manners as fuck, but I did it. You'll see it in a second, in a minute. I don't know if it's exactly at this point or not. It is also the longest 20 minutes of your life. Like, I was sitting here keeping everybody buffed up. You'll notice that everybody's in red, and you're all welcome.
Yeah, we need more than one buffer.
Oh yeah, no, it's hard. But you'll notice, like, look at the numbers of the buffs. Like, I had somebody, Dawn's at 11.
Yeah, we started the battle and there was a couple hits that were like 0.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what the buffing and debuffing does. Like, you aim for their AoE guys first, you take out their big brunt damage, you start, you know, magic, you start physical attack reducing, you start defense reducing. It's really, like, buffing and debuffing is this weird tug of war in the game that's really cool, because it's not necessarily part of the main combat.
What would you say are some of the top factors in giving you an edge in a guild battle?
In a guild battle, having the highest weapon skills you can and having applicable weapon skills. So, like, I only have a couple of instruments, so I have to sort of make do with ones I have. But, like, my legendary one, the one that I got with Gretel, that's a defense and magic defense buff. So I try to have that one as close to maxed as possible because it's a significantly larger buff when I have points in it than when without. Like, the difference between the two is staggering, and I don't get any power points off of it, but me using the ability just makes it better.
It also seems like being able to have active players there for the battle, so it's not AI focused.
Yeah, the AI isn't great.
Right?
Yeah, if you're paying attention, the AI goes on sort of a turn-based thing, so they all tend to, like, queue up and do the same thing roughly at the same time. But if you're paying attention, you can actually crank out moves slightly faster than that. But you can't, like, overload the fight either. Like, it only takes, like, 3 or 4 inputs at a time. You'll notice, like, there's no point where, like, 9 fighters jump out and slap each other.
Should be.
Yeah, that would be a bit more of a brawl. The life of a buffer. And the fights...
Well,
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, I mean, just with your prior knowledge, you were able to return to battle. The one time I fell down to do that, I didn't realize that I could. So
Well, I'll be 100% honest with you. I completely forgot that was a mechanic. Like, I read about it at some point, and I was like, yeah, sure, that'll be fine. And then it happened, and I kind of panicked the first time. So I was like, I'm just going to hit these things and hope for the best. And it ended up that's being what I was supposed to do. I kind of dumb lucked my way into it. So this is where the fight gets really weird. So they still have 3,000 damage on us. Like, they are up by 3k, but we have killed their guys and are on their boat.
Ripping planks off.
Fuck this boat.
Fuck this boat, indeed. I show up and slap the boat for 700.
Oh, that boat dead.
Yeah.
That thing burning.
And then we went up to 22,000 points.
Yeah, you get a lot of points for killing the boat. Like, it is a massive jump. And the rest of the fight is... it's pretty much this. Like, we got 8 minutes left. We'll see one more summon, and then kind of it. But this is what you do every day in guild battle. This is the whole shebang. I got sweaty as fuck trying to keep all you idiots buffed.
Good. Keep working. You have to always work harder. That's
Well, the rough thing is, like, there was only one of me, and we had no debuffer, so, like, I had to sort of play a little bit of double duty, because I have, like, 3 books in my inventory, so I had to sort of spot debuff the people that were getting out of hand. Got way too sweaty for this.
You did a good job being so sweaty using your mouse.
It's true.
Clicking where you need to.
The thing that weirded me out is it put Jake in the fight, and I guess it's because he was there, but normally that's only DPS. So I guess, like, if it bots you out, it will always default to an active player as opposed to a bot, which is weird because I didn't know a healer or support could go up front, but here we are. I guess there are 2 healers, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
A demon
I
approaches.
mean, I'll take it.
So let's see if I can actually catch the screen when it talks about it. There it is. So this is how you do the summons in PvP. So this one is staff, heavy, so hammer, and projectile, which is guns or bow. So the more we use those things, the closer we get to actually doing it. And it'll highlight the moves that it wants. Trying to see where it is. Yeah, so you see how my staff is blinking? Or was blinking. I ran out of stamina because I'm an idiot. See, there it is. So you cast it, and it goes up. So, and then the little bubbles at the top left and top right are, like, how you get them. So we actually knocked them down again before we got to summon. So it pauses that, you go fight the boat, you come back, and you finish that up, and it nukes the shit. It was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Bro, look at that boat. That boat's got no shot. Getting blasted.
Well, I like how if you get it to half health, the boat, like, just falls apart. Also, it's got a little face on it that looks like a whale.
Yeah, this is their backup boat because we just
Yeah.
used the first one.
Battleship down. And we actually did way better this time. We got it down to over half. I think we got it down to like 1,500 or 15,000. Right at like 16. No, ended up under. About 14. So we get back. We were in the middle of a summon. I'm out of SP, so I'm like, fuck it, we're going down. I don't think we hit 30. I think it's just we get up close to it. Or we might. I don't remember. No, we hit 27. So this is the second one that's kind of crazy weird.
I didn't even get to see this one.
You get all of these bearded, like, assault machines that just ion cannon everybody to death. And it's not even that much damage.
Yeah, it's like a free hit.
It's still really cool.
And then I think there's a chance that it does more damage while it's there. I haven't really read up on those that much because I didn't expect to be doing PvP this soon. The JP version didn't have PvP for like the first month. So I was very surprised that they were like, "Hey, day one you can get all fucking deodorant." I was like, "Okay, thanks guys."
They did it because they're going to announce a partnership with Old Spice.
God, I hope so. Although I will say, seeing all the characters in like their duds and stuff is really cool.
Yeah, it really makes you feel, taking you from a game that kind of feels like you're playing almost by yourself. It really puts you into like the mood of.
Oh yeah, like the difference between, and now that Zen's watching it, I'm sure like you kind of see it. Like the difference between PvE and PvP is massive.
Yeah, it looks entirely different.
Like, I have never once been concerned. That's the legendary summon. You have to farm those on Chapter 5. Those are one of the bosses you have to fight, and they're like a 2% drop rate. But, yeah. And never in PvE have I been like, oh, man, this is a lot. But, like, the 20 minutes in PvP was the longest 20 minutes ever. And now that we have killed the ship twice, we are so far ahead that I do not even believe it matters.
Hard to pull back from there.
I mean, we have a, what is it, double and change? It's like 2.3 times their score? 2.2?
Yeah, taking down the gunship really helped a ton.
Which is crazy, because they strictly have more power than us. Like, they had...
That's what I was saying. I think the fact that we had people actively there to do something, maybe they didn't have as many.
That's the only thing I can think of. Like, that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
We're just that much better.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's the ticket, boys.
That's what it is.
I mean, they don't just let anybody into the ZenGang. So
Exactly.
usually people that have been rejected or refused from several other guilds that get into the Zen, there's criteria, certain quality.
Also true.
Man, I am congested as all get out. Today has been awful. Pollen counts through the roof. Yo ho, me hearties, get this bitch out the sky.
Reminds me of the one fight in Final Fantasy XIV when you're in the Ixali place and you have to keep blowing up the little balloons they keep
I
jumping on.
know.
It looks exactly like that.
God, that was rough. I hate that dungeon.
Yeah, it's not very fun.
It's such an awful dungeon. We gotta get back on that. I got to max level and like close to the end, and then I just never popped back in.
Yeah, I need to get another level in my paladin, and then I'm done with leveling that.
I actually,
Who posted the hell yeah sticker?
I gave him a well played. Earlier, after we killed the boat.
Did it stop you from posting another one?
No, so here's the thing. You didn't see it earlier. The first time we killed their boat, I yelled yeet in all chat. And this one, the fight was over, so I was just like, well played. But yeah, at this point, we could go AFK and win this fight. There's no way they can make up a 25,000 point difference. It's absolutely insane.
Surprised it doesn't tell you, or maybe I just can't see it, how many of them are bots. Does it not say?
No, it does not say. There's almost no way for you to know.
Interesting.
Generally, the easiest way to tell is how many people you have active are, like, the weapons on the front. Like, we have 2 healers in the back. whereas they do not have a single healer on the field, so their rear guard is active, maybe. But I also don't see their guys popping in from the back at all either.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. None of them are jumping in and like doing the little assists.
Yeah, so they may not have had any of their rear guard. I don't know. Like, I don't know what the animation. Look at, do you see that Delson hit? Hold on, let me go back to that. I didn't give my man a shout out. Watch it when it goes victory. He's just like, fuck this.
Nah. One that right before the
Yeah.
he had to get one more in.
He's like, I wasn't
To make sure
finished.
No survivors.
You get a cool little video after your first win. It is voice acted, but I had the sound off, so. This game's dark as fuck.
Yeah, it's pretty much just everyone wants to kill everyone all the time.
Well, like, how far into Red Riding Hood have you gotten?
Chapter 2.
That one, she gets, like, kind of nutty. And then Hansel and Gretel aren't, like, violent until the end, but, like, the story build up to that point is very, like, oh, that's what happened. Oh.
Yeah, Red Riding Hood has not stopped talking about killing just everyone. That's all. Like all that I'm doing right now is just killing everybody.
Well, so all of the characters have, like, their vice or whatever it is. Like, Cinderella is what?
She's justice or something.
I think
weird.
Snow White's justice. She's depravity.
She is.
And then
justice.
Hansel and Gretel are...
Depravity is Cinderella.
Yeah. So this will tell you sort of what you got. This is the breakdown of it. So this is what a win screen looks like, in case none of you ever see it. That was mean, I'm sorry. That was rough. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
I like how it tells you that you were the rear guard. You guarded our.
I did guard the rear. That's what I do, baby. So you get to see sort of like what the life force difference, what your combo was, which I have no idea what the combo even dictates. So they have the contribution ranks. So like Benzie carried us by like 14,000, whereas their highest guy only had 9. So that's kind of rough. I think I'd look into the battle log too, but I have to check. We get the rewards at some point. I think I click on rewards earned and it shows you. So that tells you who summoned the demons. You have Thunderous Calamity and Seismic Calamity. Actually, I go... Oh, those are what you win. So you get 15... Or you get 13 Charm Medals, which are pretty good. And then you get Upgrade Tablets, which you can put on Nightmares. And then let me go back just a little bit, because I did want to read... Here they are. So, the first one is inflicts medium damage on all enemies in the Vanguard, increases effectiveness of blade, polearm, and instrument skills. The other one is inflicts medium damage on all enemies in the Vanguard, increases effectiveness of heavy, projectile, and staff skills. That's kind of crazy. I definitely would not have considered. It hadn't posted our win yet. I was going to see if it had done that. It does shortly after, but it did not do it immediately, which I was upset about.
Yes, I can confirm that we have 1 win and 0 losses right now.
So this is just me going through the metal shop real quick. So you can get Paladin Pinocchio out of there. You can also get the Arcana for the Red Riding Hood Cleric and the Paladin Cleric, or Paladin for Pinocchio, which is how you get their jobs past level 10. All right, and I showed those a little earlier, but I'm going to do that again. Let me pause it when I get there. There you go. So these are skill gems. So they are in 3 versions. You have the Colosseum gem, you have the Colosseum support gem, and you have the story gem. So if you look at your weapon and you go to details, you have 3 abilities on every weapon. And they are story, Colosseum, Colosseum support. So like for my instrument, my legendary instrument, I raise magic defense and physical defense. That's in story and Colosseum. The only thing that changes is the rate. And then I have a support ability that says I have a chance after activating this to not use SP when I activate the next one. So I have a chance to like completely negate the cost, which is pretty cool. because it effectively gives you like 10 more seconds in combat where you don't have to reset your bar. So these are limited. You can raise the skills on weapons by feeding other weapons into them. Obviously, you only want to do that on weapons you know for a fact you're going to be keeping for a while, because weapons are really the only kind of power creep in this game that exist. And these skill gems are limited. For example, if you read that, you get 5 of the big ones a month for the Colosseum gem. Which gives you, at the very beginning, if you're at level 1, it gives you 5 levels, or 4 levels, I believe. So, keep in mind, that is the very beginning of the bottleneck. You are going to need tons of those. And that was it. So that was the combat, so I'm going to leave it playing in the background. So, Zen, what did you think, having not been there?
It was pretty self-explanatory. Maybe not immensely so, but it seemed like it wouldn't be super hard to pick up after doing it once.
No, they do a pretty good job. It's just sort of expanded PvE, I guess.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
I mean, it looks similar to it, but just with a lot more going on.
Yeah, I got distracted by the
that's how-
effects a lot.
Yeah, that's how I felt going into it. Like I had no idea what we were doing, but it was pretty easy to pick up on what it was having you do.
Yeah, we didn't have the underdog story of getting into a guild battle against 2 guys with 10,000 power, so that has apparently been the thing on Reddit today.
That would be quite the scenario to be in.
It's pretty funny. So, just having watched it, what do you two think overall? Like, Jake, you were there, so, like, how did you approach it? Did you like it? Was it okay for a beginner, having not played it again?
Yeah, no, I liked it. Like I said, I felt more part of the guild, like more as like a group by doing it. So it was definitely something that was easy to pick up and go. Especially since sometimes I lean towards auto play when it comes to mobile games, and there was a point because I was at work when the guild battle started, so I had to throw it on auto for a little bit to set down to do something. So it was kind of nice that you were able to toggle that on and off, and it still took care of you.
And I think, Jake, you've played MMOs before, right?
Oh yeah.
So this is definitely where you see that little twist of it's almost like a mini raid, essentially. Like, each of your roles matter, what you do during the fight. Like, when Jake actually asked me before we started this, he's like, is there anything I need to know? And I was like, don't use your heals too early. Because, like, at our level, most of our heals are full heals. So, like, if you pop somebody that's only missing 10% of their health, it's pretty much just a straight loss for the other 80% of the heal.
Yeah, I could definitely see, very much like with raids and MMOs where you have kind of everyone queued up in a voice chat to coordinate.
Yeah, communication is very important on this one. There are a lot of guilds that actually voice chat these things.
Yeah, I could definitely see you doing that, being able to like focus fire on a unit or changing, coordinating that way. And I think that's pretty interesting that they were able to bring that feeling and that kind of like ability to do that, or incentivize you to do that into a mobile game.
Yeah, it's very unique. And I think once we get like a time frame nailed down and everybody's sort of on the same page, we could probably actually do these in Discord. Which I would recommend if you have enough people in your guild and you can wrangle 15 fucking cats. Which is difficult enough.
Yeah, and like I didn't actually participate in this fight because I forgot that it was at this time every day. But people, when I've been talking about the game on Twitter and stuff, people have been like, I don't feel like there's anything to do. There's just, what's the point of just grinding single player to do this? And it's like, this is the point.
Yeah, like
is
the
to get in
PvP
guild
is the
and
real
play this
end
mode,
game.
like, right.
And I will agree that like the PvE is a little basic. It's very simple, but they don't come at this with like the 7 deadly sins thing where I need to leave my phone on auto overnight to hope I get some kind of progress in the 5 hours of running my battery.
Yeah, no, I mean, I auto single player like almost exclusively in this, and I have plenty of stuff that I've gotten just from playing it. But like being in the guild and like coordinating stuff and oh, we need more of this class, who can switch to this, and then we gotta, organize who's doing what. Like, it's fun, it's involved. It makes the game a lot more interesting than just like your usual mobile game. Fight this stage 14 times to get this item. Okay, now your item is 7 stars instead of 6.
Yeah.
Now fight this stage 15 times to make it 8 stars or whatever. Like, it's not just a collection like to look at a bunch of pretty pictures that you have and go, yay, I own this. Like, it's an actual team effort that's engaging and it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it gives every guild member like a purpose, like you were saying, how you're coordinating and figuring out what your role is. You're not just someone showing up and contributing a member. Like we may need you to move and do something different. And in regards to what you guys were also talking about how this game is different, I really like the fact that you can use skip tickets on pretty much anything. It doesn't have to just be.
Oh yeah, there's no regulation on skip tickets in this game. They're like, what do you want to skip?
Thank you. Yeah, you want to skip it, and you skip it immediately. Like, that is great.
Yeah, that's definitely a unique thing in this game, because they're, like, I think Dragalia does it pretty well, where they're like, hey, you want to skip something? Here's 200 tickets. Fuck it. Do whatever you do.
Yeah, Dragalia's like, you don't even gotta play if you don't want to play.
Yeah, like, Dragalia is like, hey, I know you're going to log in for, like, 6 minutes and hit your 200 skip tickets because you've got 7,000 of them in your box, so, like, I respect that. Keep doing it. And you're like, all right.
Yeah, it says something about a developer when they realize that there are some developers that try to make you be on their game all the time, and this game, I feel like, at least so far, has been very good about realizing that we want your time, but we don't want all of it.
Yeah, and the PvP payoff was definitely significant. Like, and a lot of you didn't know what you were getting into when you were like, yeah, let's go play PvP, and I was like, it's a lot, guys, and I think everybody was pretty happy about it. Everybody seemed really hyped, like, both before, during, and after.
Yeah, it really was a team effort.
And the surprise win was really just the cherry on top of this shit sandwich. None of us expected to pull that win off.
Well, I will note that in the Discord, I was like, we got this, guys. We can do this. We just got to try our best.
Yeah, I get it. So I understand how bullshit cheerleading works, Jake. Oh, man. I love you.
I love you, too.
So...
I was right, though.
I mean, listen, a broken clock's right twice a day, my dude. We could have lost this bad. Especially given the number difference. Like, their top 3 encompassed almost our entire guild.
Yeah, and that top 3 just didn't show up.
Maybe, I don't know. Like, that's the crazy thing. And then Zen at, like, 5 after the guild battle was over, he's like, shit, I missed it, because somebody... Who hit you up on Twitter? Was it Soap?
For which thing?
For the guild fight that you missed.
No, nobody hit me up on
I
Twitter.
thought Soap reached out because you were...
Oh, wait.
Somebody
Setsu?
did.
I don't know if that's...
Yeah, I think that's
I don't
Soap.
know if everyone changes their damn name.
Yeah, I get it.
It was Setsu on Twitter. I don't know who he is in the Discord.
I'm pretty sure that's Soap.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like, I gotta hit Zen up. And then Zen was like, oh shit, I missed it.
I forgot that because right now it's set for 5 p.m. my time, which is literally like when I'm in the car driving home from work.
Yeah,
So,
we definitely probably want to set it like a
time.
little later at night, because I don't know when everybody's time zone is. I think we're mostly either West Coast to East Coast. But like, you have some guilds that are trying to wrangle like European times. Like, it's fucking crazy. Because there are 8 time zones that you can play in, like 8 time frames. It's something else. They definitely put a very unique amount of work into Guild Wars. So, any last questions? Any last comments? What you got?
No, I was gonna say that the whole idea of Zen missing the guild.
It was the funniest thing ever.
Eating lunch. Yeah, eating lunch and be like, what? Dropping like a sandwich.
Like, you couldn't be more on character for Zen to miss his very own guild's first fight.
That was also a win.
That was also a win. Like, there is nothing that's like...
One in spite.
Yeah, Zen walks in after everything's... He's the tuxedo mask meme. He goes, my job is done. And like, you did nothing. And then he twirls his cape and leaves.
No, you know what I did? I brought you guys together.
That's what happened.
Yeah, he's like, last time I checked, my name is on the guild name, so I think I did it.
Oh, what a fucking coincidence. So, you got anything, Zen?
No, I guess the only thing I would say is just don't judge the game entirely on the monotony of PvE, because I will say it's kind of monotonous. It's mostly just like slap auto on that shit and let your little characters do whatever they got to do. But give getting into a guild and really trying to strategize and build something for this before you check out on the game, because I was kind of bored at first and I was like, oh, it just looks like that stupid Kingdom Hearts game and it just plays like it. And then we started actually strategizing and building the guild, and now I'm playing it like all the time. So make sure you at least give it a shot before you give up on the game, if you're thinking about giving up on the game.
Yeah, no, I agree with that entirely, because I got a lot of messages on YouTube yesterday, like day one, where people are like, this is boring. I'm like, you haven't even had a guild fight yet. Like, that's 90% of the game. And like, yeah, it's whaley, it's kind of pay to win, like, I get it, I understand. I'm also trying to get to the point in the video where there it is! There it is, if you check the chat bar at the bottom. It's just me yelling yeet in all chat like the bad manners motherfucker that I am.
Great, we're gonna have a reputation now.
What are they gonna do? Email my boss?
Maybe.
They're gonna cancel
know.
cancel me like Evo? I wanna see it.
Ooh, topical.
Yeah, oh god, too soon.
Oh, I did fucking rest in pepperoni, my dude. I guess if you're gonna fuck up that bad, you gotta go that hard. Who knew?
Yeah, that's oof.
Yeah, that's another topic. So that's it from us. Jake, what do you got going on right now? What's going on in your life?
I'm currently, I just mainly stream. I'm also on Twitter. I'm that one Jake guy with the number 1. You can also find me on Twitch and also on a streaming platform known as Trovo. That's TROVO .live. So
And you are playing Breath of Fire 4 right now, I do believe, with some Game Dev Tycoon on the side.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm doing.
And then
I play classic.
nobody knows who Zen is because he doesn't have a Twitter anymore.
Actually, I do.
You do? What is
Technically,
it?
I do.
It's not the same. It's just not the same.
It isn't the same. It's
I
not the
know,
same.
it's rough. I'm still a little bitter about that. I didn't even lose my Twitter, and I'm mad at Twitter.
Yeah, and I like how I appealed it like 2 weeks ago, and nobody has responded to it yet, so that's good.
Well, it's the... Okay, we're far enough into a 45-minute video that Gung Ho isn't going to clip me on this. It's the Gung Ho approach. It's COVID, my dude.
Yeah, well, yeah, quote, COVID.
It's COVID. That's why the balance patch didn't come out. That's why we broke Champion.
That's why we had time to nerf Maverick's memories, but nothing else.
Yeah, I need more boob tattoos. All right, Zen, what do you got going? What are you doing up to? What's going on in your plate?
Well, I'm a JoJo YouTuber, mostly JoJo video games, but I do a few other things as well. You can find me on YouTube at Zenrado. Mostly I play Pitter Patter Pop, if you know what that is. If you don't know what that is, go to that YouTube channel I just gave you, and then you will know what it is.
It's true. Pitter Patter Pop's pretty sweet. I still haven't pulled voice Fordero, so I'm a little upset, but I get it.
Oh, he's so good.
I know. I didn't get
man.
Fordero the first time, and I didn't get the voiced one.
Even if you like ignore how good he is, like tier-wise, where he's like maybe the best character in the game, possibly, he's number 2, like at worst. From an aesthetic perspective, he's still the best character in the game. He has like the best lineup of voice lines, the best animations. He's the only character in the whole game that has an animation for when his skill ends. Like,
That's
everyone
actually
has
pretty
one for
sick.
performing it. Yeah, so remember when he fights... You've seen part 4, right? All the way through? Remember when he fights Kira and he does the beatdown and then he does like the Star Platinum does the turnaround?
Yes.
When his skill ends, it's him and Star Platinum do the little turnaround, and they show their backs to the camera.
Okay, that's pretty sick. Now I
It's so
now I
good.
have to God damn it. You're gonna make me spend money on Pitter Patter Pop, and now I'm upset.
You should. He's so worth it.
God.
He's the coolest character they've ever released by far.
I can't go down that hole. Anyway, we're 45 minutes in. I'm gonna let this one go. Thanks guys for showing up. I'm glad we got to see this. Hopefully it was helpful to anybody watching. And that's it from me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, buddy.
See you later, boys.